Okay, so this is really good news. I like to hear this. I actually agree with a big chunk of this actually.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so we're just gonna go over this really quick. Okay, I came across this article. It's pretty good. Okay, it's pretty nice. Four San Antonio Spurs who increased their trade value this season. This is by Taylor Watts at Air Alamo. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So I'm a little late to the punch, but he says Keldon Johnson is one player in particular that has upped the ante as far as his value and what teams would be willing to give up for him. Now, I did a video. I don't know the order of these videos right now, but a video in particular that talked about Keldon Johnson and how the Thunder might be viewing him in their perspective. And it's nice to see people outside of the San Antonio Spurs to see how they think about these players, because we've watched them game in, game out. We feel like we have a good idea of what the value is, but that is not necessarily the case. Some teams will see them differently than we have. It's not like they've watched them all season long and keyed in on every small bit of nuance to their game. They just kind of know overall what type of player they are, what they're bringing statistically, things that they've done previously, and the type of player character they are, all that good stuff, right? But it's certain nuances that we might be able to catch that we're like, I don't know how it's going to work. Same thing with, the DeJounte Murray situation. Like, obviously, statistically, on paper, you watch him play, it's like, oh, he's really great. And he is a really good player. But, if you're a Spurs fan, you watch all of these games, you can see some of the nuances. You can see some of the annoyances that the fan base can have with his game on and off the court. I mean, his character on and off the court at times, too. But it's fine. Let's move on. Sorry, that was kind of ranty. The Spurs may look to trade Keldon Johnson this summer for a better fit on their roster. So this has been talked about in April. Yeah, this is back in April. They need a more consistent shooter next to Wemby. Johnson raised his value by showing he can play any role and is comfortable starting or coming off the bench. He could be the key to a Good God. To a San Antonio blockbuster this summer. So stay tuned. I really think that's the if the Spurs make any type of huge splash, Keldon Johnson is going to be involved, right? Everyone knows him in the Team USA. Everyone knows the type of guy he is. Everyone knows he brings that type of energy. Everyone knows he's an all-around pretty good player offensively. And, even the other article saying that he's good defensively, which was crazy. But, hey, let them believe what they want to believe. I'm cool with it. All right, the next player they put on this list was Trey Jones. So we won't go over this too much. I don't think that Trey Jones is going to be moved at all. Okay. I think he's a very valuable asset to the Spurs right now. I don't think that, if someone actually asks and it's between giving away Trey Jones or, not getting Darius Garland, or keeping Trey Jones and not getting Darius Garland or something like that, something crazy like that, yeah, the Spurs would do it. But I don't think the Spurs are going to be looking to trade Trey Jones. He fits with the team very well right now. Good leader, has been very effective on both ends of the court. Defensively, he's pretty decent. Offensively, he's done a good job. I mean, even the criticisms we've had as far as his shooting, he's even improved that as the season has went on. So I don't really see the Spurs moving Trey. I think that he is a good piece right now. And, if the Spurs do elect to not go after a point guard and they just focus in on the defensive end of the ball, and say they go ahead and grab Castle and they grab Ron Holland or something like that, I could very well see them just saying, screw it. We'll run Trey Jones another year, let him be the primary point guard, and then we'll kind of see what 2025 landscape looks like. But I don't think that he'll be moved at all. But he has I think he has increased his trade value. Dominic Barlow, that's a tough one, man. The more I think about it, the more I start to question, where is he going to fit when all things are considered? Because he definitely has some competition. But I do like Dom Barlow a lot. I like him a lot. I think, like I said, with all these players, really, character-wise, he's great. But he's one of those guys where he does have, very similar to City Sissoko, where I think that his ceiling is pretty high. I see the same thing with Dominic Barlow. It's not going to happen right now. I think that he's going to be somewhat of a late bloomer. It's going to be a few years, but I think that he could be someone where when the Spurs are really in the mood of winning or in the mode of winning and they're a better team overall, he's going to be somebody that really stands out, right? Kind of similar to, which I think that he'll be a better player than this player. But similar to like Jonathan Simmons, right? Like when the Spurs were really winning and Jonathan Simmons came in, fans were ecstatic. They were like, oh my God, this guy's just so freaking good. He's bringing that spark. He's bringing that energy. He's doing everything he possibly can for the Spurs to win. I've seen the same thing or some of those same similarities with Dominic Barlow. Now, don't get me wrong. Barlow is a better player, and he's going to be a better player than Jonathan Simmons. But, I definitely see him potentially, as the season or the years go on, be a really good weapon for us. So I don't want to trade him. And, if you do trade him, you can at least play him a couple more years and increase that trade value even more. And then you have Julian Champagnie, another guy that I don't want to trade. But with his salary, and he's not making a ton, I could definitely see the Spurs getting a pretty decent package for Julian. Nothing crazy. Maybe a couple seconds, possibly. But if you package him with Keldon or package him with another player and send them out, maybe you can get something pretty decent. But I like Julian. I want Julian to stay on the team. I want him to come off the bench. I think that a lot of the hate that he's got throughout this season was really coming down to the fact that he can't keep up with starters, and he's not a starter, right? I think he fits with the team well. I think that he makes pretty decent reads. I think he plays good defense. But I think that he'll look much better if he's coming off the bench. And unfortunately, the Spurs didn't really have the luxury of having him come off the bench. He had to start. But if we can go ahead and get some of those pieces in there that we desperately need, I can see Champagnie coming off the bench and the fans love him. But right now, I think that's why he got so much hate throughout the season, is that he's just not a starter, man. Of course, he's not going to put up starter points and have starter stats. But if you just watch his game, he is a good defender, really good defender, actually. He does play hard and he plays the right way. And, I like him as a player a lot. And, he can get hot too, from three. So I want him to come off the bench. I think that'd be nice. And I think we'll actually have the luxury to do that this upcoming season, right? The privilege of doing that. So anyways, that's all. This is a good article. I do agree that all these players have definitely increased their trade value and gotten better as the season went on. But Keldon is kind of the big one, right? I think he's the one where if anything happens, any turn of the tide, any big shift in the San Antonio Spurs this offseason, it's going to come in the hands of Keldon. And it comes from his hard work and how players and teams view him. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. Anyways, get with you guys later, man. Till next time. Bye.